When I woke up, my wife announced she'd been reborn and was demanding a divorce. She was consumed with guilt, claiming that in her past life she hadn't chosen love, causing the one that got away to die alone overseas. This time, she was determined to fix all her regrets. "I already spent a lifetime with you, I don't owe you anything. Just let me go." She probably expected me to beg and plead, but instead, I agreed in a heartbeat. "When do you want to do it?" "No time like the present. This afternoon works for me." The reason was simple. I was reborn, too. If she wanted to go make it up to her old flame, fine by me. I had no desire to be cheated on for another lifetime, only to be poisoned to death by my own wife in the end. "Let's get a divorce." Early that morning, my wife, Sophia, shook me awake. I was still groggy when I heard her say she wanted a divorce. I froze, instantly wide awake. I turned to look at my wife. The scene felt so real it wasn't a dream. I was reborn. "I've been reborn," Sophia said, her voice flat, but her eyes couldn't hide her excitement. "I only married you to spite my family, but it caused Brandon to die all alone in another country. I feel so guilty. In our last life, I was with you for decades. I don't owe you anything. Just let me go." I stared at her, trying to see past her beautiful face to the rotten heart beating inside. In my last life, it was love at first sight for me. I pursued her relentlessly. It was a rocky road, but the destination felt like heaven. At our wedding, I cried with joy. I shouted "I love you" with everything I had and privately vowed to cherish her forever. And I did. After we got married, I doted on her, treating her like a precious treasure I held in the palm of my hand. But she was secretly in contact with her old flame, Brandon Cole. They even rented an apartment together and started a new life. Under the guise of going to work, she was shacking up with Brandon, almost never coming home before midnight. And I, completely oblivious, just felt bad that she was working so hard. Every night, I'd make dinner and wait for her until the early hours, asking tenderly if she was tired. I lived like that, being cheated on, for 3 whole years. Then one evening, 3 years later, she came home early and even made dinner. I was thrilled, thinking my 3 years of devotion had finally paid off. I ate the meal she made with a blissful smile on my face. Even though the food was incredibly bitter, I didn't say a word. It was the first time she had ever cooked for me, and I didn't want to crush her confidence. But who would have guessed the food was bitter because she'd laced it with poison? When the poison took effect, a sharp pain twisted in my gut. I foolishly thought I'd just caught a chill. It was only when she told me herself, "Let's just call it quits for this lifetime. In the next one, I'll be with you again." I was stunned. I asked her what she meant. She stood up and pulled out the half-empty bottle of pesticide. "I poisoned you. It'll only hurt for a little while. Don't blame me. Brandon said he doesn't want to live in secret anymore. He wants to marry me." In that moment, my world came crashing down. I gripped the table, my fingers digging so hard into the wood they nearly splintered it. My body ached, but my heart ached more. It was only then that I realized I'd been cheated on for 3 years. That guy from my company, Brandon, was my wife's true love. I asked her why she married me if she didn't love me. Sophia said it was out of spite. Her family thought Brandon was too poor and refused to let them be together. So, in a fit of anger, she chose to marry me. I cried, a bitter smile on my face. "If you didn't love me, you could have just divorced me. Do you hate me so much that you had to kill me? Brandon doesn't want you on this earth. He feels disgusted knowing you were with me for so long." "Ah, so that was the reason." I spat out a mouthful of blood. After I died, my soul lingered, unable to move on. I watched my wife and Brandon dump my body on the road to fake a car accident. The driver was wrongly accused, while my wife collected a huge compensation payout. Sophia used my settlement money to move into a big house with her lover and start their new life. It wasn't until my parents sensed something was wrong and demanded an autopsy that the truth came out. A month after my burial, my body was exhumed. The autopsy confirmed I was poisoned. My wife and Brandon went to prison and were sentenced to death. And now she had been reborn, too. Perhaps because she was caught once before, this time she didn't dare make a move against me so brazenly. So she just wanted a clean divorce to be with Brandon. Well, say something. Don't just stand there. My wife's voice was cold and sharp. She probably thought that since I was so deeply in love with her, I would refuse. But in this life, I had no intention of being cheated on for years before being murdered. I agreed on the spot. When do you want to go? No time like the present. How about this afternoon? My wife was a little surprised, but her shock was quickly replaced by excitement. See you at City Hall this afternoon. Oh, and by the way, I'm keeping the house. I laughed out loud. Why would the house go to you? I've been with you for 2 lifetimes. Don't I deserve it? 2 lifetimes? Ah, she conveniently forgot that in the last life, she owed me my life. A peaceful split was the absolute most I was willing to give her. Forget the house. It's a premarital asset. The law won't give it to you, and neither will I. My wife's eyes went wide. Leo, didn't you say over and over that you loved me? If you don't give me the house, am I supposed to sleep on the street? Oh, so you remember I love you? I loved you for so long, and you still went and cheated on me with your old flame. You won't be sleeping on the street. You've still got Brandon, don't you? I got up and started getting dressed. I was going to be late for work. My wife walked over and angrily snatched my jacket away. So you just got to sleep with me for free? I took a deep breath, forcing down my anger. Believe whatever you want. Get your stuff out of here soon. I'm changing the locks. With that, I walked out the door. When I got to the office, the first thing I noticed was how old everything looked. The exterior of the building and the interior decor all had a dated feel. I saw a half-finished file on my desk, and with just one look at the cover, I knew what the completed version contained. I also knew which projects would make money and which would lose it. It seemed fate had given me a second chance by sending me back 3 years. With the memories of my past life, my career was bound to take off. Good. Forget that heartless woman. This life was all about making money and building my career. There are plenty of good women out there. A man like me won't have trouble finding a wife. I dove into my work, filtering out the most valuable projects. In just half a day, I accomplished what would have taken me half a month in my previous life. Just as I was about to submit my work, I saw Brandon Cole, the man who destroyed my family, who conspired with Sophia to kill me, the man I hated to my very core. He was in Division 1 and I was in Division 2. Our departments were on different floors, so we rarely saw each other. But in my past life, I always seemed to run into him. I didn't think much of it at the time, but I later realized he was doing it on purpose, just to secretly gloat and watch me squirm. Hey, Leo, I heard you got married? Yeah, about 6 months ago. Man, why didn't you say anything? We missed out on your wedding feast. Here, didn't get to drink your wine, but I can't skip the gift. Take this. As Brandon said this, he handed me a $10 bill. A colleague next to us rolled their eyes. Wedding gifts are supposed to be big bills. Why'd you give him a 10? And that's so little. Brandon just shrugged. What can I say? I'm broke. I was seeing this girl, slept with her for 2 years. But when it came time to talk marriage, her family said I was too poor and wouldn't approve. What was her name? Tell us so we can all steer clear. Brandon waved his hand, a flippant look on his face. Let's not get into names. That's all in the past. Besides, I was just messing around. If she'd actually agreed to marry me, my head would have exploded. He finished, then turned to me with a suggestive look. How are things with you and your wife? Any regrets after getting married? Brandon, what are you talking about? The guy just got married. Hey, just making conversation. I've got a fear of commitment, just trying to understand it. I glanced at him, a slight smirk on my lips, and walked away without a word. When I got to the director's office, I immediately noticed the project proposal submitted by Division 1. The planner was Brandon Cole. I spoke bluntly. Sir, we can't invest in this project. It's going to lose money. The director picked up the project file. You've seen it? I haven't seen the file, but I've researched the product. It's one that our division already passed on. I deliberately framed it as a departmental issue, not a personal one. First, it prevented me from making enemies with all of Division 1. Second, if I wanted to get promoted, I'd need my director's support. This was just the right amount of push. After hearing me out, the director set the project aside, probably intending to investigate it further. He took my proposal and nodded in satisfaction. Did you do this all by yourself? The director assigned it. I did the research and the write-up on my own. Good. Nicely done. You can go back to your desk now. After leaving the office, I got a text from Sophia. I talked to a lawyer. The timing of your home purchase was right around our wedding, so it can't be considered a premarital asset. How about this? You keep the house and you pay me $500,000. I laughed. What kind of fake lawyer did she find? I didn't reply. We'd settle everything that afternoon. Leo, I think you forgot something. Brandon walked over, a smirk on his face, like he was joking. I asked him what. I gave you a wedding gift, he said. You're not going to buy me a drink? The least you could do is treat me to a bowl of noodles. Oh, and bring your wife along. That would be more sincere. I knew exactly what he was up to. At this point in the timeline, my wife hadn't cheated yet. The two of them hadn't even reconnected. The current situation was like a cracked egg, and the fly was buzzing around, looking for a way in. Fine. I'd give them a little push. Wedding gift? I never accepted it. Besides, I'm about to get divorced. Brandon was stunned. Divorced? I ignored him and walked away. Even with my back to him, I could feel his delight. That afternoon, I arrived at City Hall as planned. It seemed my wife couldn't wait. The moment she saw me, she started complaining. They open at 2 o'clock. It's already 2:10. What took you so long? This is a divorce. You couldn't be on time for something this important? I took out my ID and household registration, walking ahead of her. After we finished the paperwork and walked out, she suddenly asked me, "Are you seeing another woman?" I'm not capable of something like that. If you think I agreed to this divorce so quickly because I was cheating, you're mistaken. Whatever. Do what you want. Thanks for giving me my freedom. With that, Sophia held out her hand. I didn't shake it. I turned, hailed a cab, and got in. Seeing me leave so abruptly, Sophia quickly added, "You need to deal with the house issue soon. 500,000. I'm not asking for much. Driver, let's go," I said, ignoring her as the car pulled away. When I got home, I packed all of Sophia's things into a suitcase and had a courier service take them away. Then I changed the locks. With every trace of Sophia gone from the house, a sense of peace washed over me. The next day, the project department was in an uproar. The director publicly praised Division 2 and harshly criticized Division 1. The main reason was the project file I had flagged the day before. The file had major problems. If the company had rashly invested, it would have lost at least hundreds of thousands of dollars. As soon as I got to the office, my director called me in. He asked me what had happened yesterday. I just smiled. "Weren't those your instructions, sir?" The director paused, then smiled with satisfaction. "Leo, I think you're a perfect fit for the supervisor position. Starting today, you, Leo Evans, are the new supervisor of Project Division 2. I quickly bowed in thanks. Everything was going according to plan. At lunch in the cafeteria, Brandon walked over, his face grim. He slammed his tray down on my table. "Was it you?" I put down my chopsticks. "What are you talking about? Still playing dumb? You were the only one who went to the director's office yesterday. Right after you came back, you were promoted to supervisor. Who else could it have been? The credit goes to my director. I can't take responsibility for such a huge honor." By shifting the credit to my director, I shut Brandon up immediately. "Leo Evans, you're good. Just you wait." Brandon was not a good person. I had learned the extent of his malice in my past life. I had to be on my guard. I had just gotten home that evening when my director called. He was furious. "Leo, that project you submitted to the manager yesterday, the other party took the money and ran. What kind of work is this? Couldn't believe it. How was that possible? In my last life, this project went off without a hitch. Director, I'll look into it right away. You'd better handle this and fast. The general manager is about to lose his mind. The company has been investing in projects for over a decade and has never encountered anything like this. If you can't fix this, Don't blame me for turning on you. After he hung up, I rushed back to the company. I ran into Brandon on his way out. This was a guy who always left right on time. For him to be here so late, a thought struck me. I remembered what happened at lunch. It had to be him. Well, if it isn't Supervisor Evans. Working late tonight? Brandon's tone was dripping with sarcasm. I walked up to him and warned him. Be careful you don't play yourself into an early grave. Ha ha ha, what are you talking about? I don't understand. You make it sound like I'm the one who ran into a scammer. Leo. You really had to stir things up, didn't you? Stepping on Division 1 to climb the ladder. And look what happened. You got what was coming to you. This was your own oversight. How can you blame anyone else? Don't give me that crap. I'm telling you, you're finished. This project has gone all the way up to the chairman. Let's see how long you last. Oh, right, I forgot to tell you. You've set a new record for the company. The first scammer in over 10 years of business. All thanks to you. Ha! Alright, I'm done chatting. My girl is here to pick me up. Brandon tugged at his collar, a smug look on his face as he waved toward the street. In the distance, Sophia was riding over on a bike-share bike, thoughtfully carrying an extra helmet. When she saw me, her eyes darted away nervously. Supervisor Evans. Do you know her? This is my ex-girlfriend. I heard you cried like a baby at your wedding, like you'd won the lottery or something. Ha ha ha. Alright, Brandon, that's enough. Let's go, Sophia said, clearly embarrassed, trying to hurry him away. Brandon's face hardened. What? You don't like me showing you off? Are you still thinking of him as your man? No, we're already divorced. Then what's the problem? Since all the relevant parties are here today, let's have a nice chat about the house. Brandon took out his phone and opened the calculator. Based on the property value, we'll split it. Sophia, you should ask him for $600,000. I already talked to him about it. He's paying $500,000. I said ask for $600,000. Brandon glared at Sophia. Sophia didn't dare argue. She gave me an apologetic smile. Let's make it $600,000. You two can keep dreaming. I was in a hurry to deal with the project crisis. I didn't have time for their wishful thinking. Hearing this, Brandon grabbed me and punched me in the face. Leo Evans, you son of a bitch. You screwed me over with that project today. I called your wife over just to rub it in your face. And not only do you not care, you're this arrogant. I'll kill you. I had nowhere to vent my own anger, so I immediately started fighting back. Sophia tried to break us up, but she only got in my way, causing me to take several punches. Wiping the blood from my mouth, I nodded coldly. Nice work. Sophia lowered her head. She actually had the decency to look guilty. You'd better start raising the money. If you don't pay up, I'll sue you. Go ahead. Do whatever you want. I clenched my jaw and walked away. After what happened today, I swore to myself, if they ever let me get my hands on some dirt, I would make sure their end was as ugly as possible. Back at the office, I quickly opened my computer to check the original electronic files. I found the other party's contact information and called them. Fortunately, someone answered. I quickly asked them what was going on. They were completely baffled, saying they had never been notified about signing a contract. I said that was impossible, as both parties needed to be present to sign a contract and process the payment. Could the person who signed the contract have been an imposter? But how could an imposter get their hands on the company's credentials and all the necessary documents? Hearing my doubts, the person on the other end told me to check the payment records immediately. I risked getting chewed out and called my director. He sent me the payment receipt, which I forwarded to the other company. The result was a bolt from the blue. The recipient of the funds had disappeared. Not only had they scammed our company out of millions, but they had also taken a significant amount of money from the other company. The other company had already reported it to the police. Even worse, the person had likely already fled the country. I sat there in a daze. Here I was, with a second chance at life, and my promising future was about to be destroyed. I didn't sleep a wink that night. After filing a report at the police station, I couldn't fall asleep. But when it rains, it pours. The next day, the chairman himself came to the company. At the same time, I received more bad news. I was suspended and placed under investigation. As I was dejectedly packing my things and waiting for the elevator, a cheerful-looking Brandon walked over. "Leo, that supervisor job was a real revolving door." "Huh? Lasted a whole day before you were out?" I looked at him coldly. "Don't get too cocky. Once the investigation is over, you're going to pay." "Ha ha ha, you're like a mad dog, trying to bite everyone you see." Then he leaned in and whispered, "I don't mind telling you, it was my idea to have you suspended and investigated. A person like you belongs in the gutter. I'm not just going to sleep with your woman. I'm going to make sure you can never hold your head up high again. As long as I, Brandon Cole, am around, you'll never have a good day in your life. This is what you get for challenging me. Don't like it? Hit me." Ha ha ha. Brandon walked away, oozing arrogance. I suppressed the fury rising within me. It's fine. If I can't catch that scammer, I'll just hold on tight to the dirt I have on you. When I got home, the police were already there. They asked me a lot of questions about the project. I knew the details by heart and even showed them the original electronic files on my computer to prove my innocence. The phone number and corporate account in the original electronic version were correct. For something like this to happen, someone must have maliciously altered the other party's payment information. I suggested the police conduct a technical analysis to determine the last time the electronic file was edited and printed. If it matched the time I handed it to the manager, my name would be cleared. After the police left, I immediately found the head of security at my company and asked for his help in reviewing the surveillance footage. I wanted to see if anyone had entered the manager's office that night. The security chief and I were usually on good terms, but now, when a tiger is cornered, even the dogs will bite. He snorted. "Give me a break. You're a suspect. You think I can let you see the security footage? If anyone's going to check it, it'll be the police." It was a bitter pill to swallow, but I understood his position. Now all I could do was wait for news from the police. But the truth was, the police didn't find any significant leads. The surveillance footage showed that after I submitted the project proposal, no one else entered the office. The suspicion against me deepened. And right at that moment, Sophia showed up again, demanding I give her the $600,000. I was so fed up that I just told her to go ahead and sue me. I didn't have a penny to my name anyway. The days I spent at home felt like years. Without a job, without a chance to prove myself, my last life felt like a complete waste. Fortunately, on the 10th day, there was a breakthrough. The police officer told me the results of the technical analysis were in, and they confirmed the file had not been modified. The timestamps also matched the surveillance footage. I was ecstatic and immediately called my director, only to find that he had blocked me. Even the general manager had blocked my number. Desperate to make a living, I swallowed my pride and called the chairman directly. "Mr. Chairman, hello, this is Leo Evans. First, I want to apologize for the company being defrauded, but I truly did not do it. The technical analysis results are out, and I didn't make any changes to the file. Could you please give me another chance? I will find the culprit. I'll bring the person responsible to justice." The person on the other end was silent for a moment, and then a woman's voice came through. "Leo Evans, do you remember me?" Hearing her voice, I paused. I had seen the chairman before, and he definitely wasn't a woman. "I'm sorry, who is this? You really don't remember?" "It's Chloe Young." Chloe Young, my high school classmate. Back in school, she was a total tomboy, always hanging out with us guys, and even had short hair. We even snuck into an apple orchard outside of school to steal apples together once. When we got caught and our parents were called, Chloe's parents never showed up. It was my mom and dad who had to bail her out. Back then, she always used to call me Big Brother Leo. "Hey Chloe, is that you? Wait, why do you have our chairman's phone?" "He's my dad." "Your dad?" "Never mind me. I heard your project set a new record for our family's company. It really wasn't me. Ha ha ha, just messing with you. I know it wasn't you. Where are you? I'll come find you." I quickly sent her my location, and we agreed to meet at a coffee shop near the office. I hadn't seen her in years, and I almost didn't recognize her. Her short hair was now long and flowing over her shoulders, and her shorts had been replaced by a long white dress. But the way she walked, still so carefree, her arms swinging with an almost air. After we sat down, I felt a little awkward. I'm a bit tight on cash, so we'll just have to make do with this place. Ha ha ha, you're still the same smartass. You haven't changed a bit. My dad told me some guy named Leo Evans conspired with a scammer to defraud the company. I was stunned. I immediately pulled up your file, and sure enough, it was you. I thought to myself, you were a nervous wreck just stealing an apple. How could you possibly pull off something like that? It's a long story. I'm afraid I was set up. I told her the whole story from beginning to end. Chloe listened with her chin in her hand, nodding when I finished. Don't worry. Even if no one else believes you, I do. Really? Then, could you maybe talk to the chairman and let me go back to work? Otherwise, I won't even be able to afford food. Of course. I said I believe you, so why wouldn't he? Hold on, I'll call him right now. Chloe took out her phone and made the call. Dad, Leo Evans is my classmate. I know him. He's not the kind of person to do something like that. In high school, when we were stealing apples, he was so scared, but he still stood behind me to block the farmer. Besides, after the apple incident, it was his mom who bailed me out. You were too embarrassed to even show your face. You still owe them. I don't care. Reinstate him to his original position. As for his salary, I'll set it after he's cleared his name. At worst, you can just cut my allowance. Great, that's it. Hanging up, Chloe grinned, looking pleased with herself. Done. I was overcome with gratitude. Thank you so much, Chloe. Without you, I wouldn't even know where to start with the investigation. Don't mention it. We're buddies. The next day, I returned to the company. Many people looked at me with surprise. When I got to Division 2, many of my colleagues were openly sarcastic. What the hell? How is he back at work? This has to be a mistake. He must be here to pack his things and get out. Ha! If he's really back, I'll eat my hat. He brought so much shame on our division, and he still has the nerve to show his face. I kept my mouth shut, not offering any explanation, and quietly sat down at my desk. Just then, the director walked over. Supervisor Evans, come in for a moment. My colleagues' jaws dropped. Supervisor Evans? He's still the supervisor? The director glared at them. All of you, shut up. Can't you do anything to promote unity? The technical analysis already cleared Supervisor Evans. What are you all blabbering about? Let me tell you, the supervisor of Project Division 2 is named Evans, and that's final. My colleagues fell silent. In the office, the director, in a complete reversal of his previous behavior, poured me a cup of tea. Supervisor Evans, which executive did you get in touch with? Director, let's not talk about that. I just want to do my job and get to the bottom of this. Good, very good. You have connections, but you don't abuse them. You're a young man with a bright future. I didn't continue the small talk. I asked for a short leave of absence and went to the security monitoring room. In the monitoring room, Chloe was also there. Just as I was about to greet her, the security chief stormed over and shoved me away. What are you doing here? You're a suspect. Don't you dare come near the monitoring room. I'm here to look at the footage, and I've already been cleared of suspicion. Cleared of suspicion? You've got to be kidding me. You look like a shifty-eyed crook. Get out. As the security chief pushed me, Chloe walked out, her face furious. Let him go. The security chief immediately bowed his head. Miss Young, it's Ms. Young. Ms. Young, he's the one who caused our company to lose so much money. What? Are you Judge Judy now? The police have already said he's in the clear, and you're saying he's guilty. When did the police say he was cleared? I didn't know. Who do you think you are, God himself? Does the company have to report everything to you first? I'm curious, he's a department supervisor. Since when does he have to answer to the head of security? Wasn't he fired? I reinstated him. You got a problem with that? The security chief was stunned. Ms. Young, you, get out of the way. Chloe pushed him aside and took my hand, leading me into the monitoring room. The security chief stood frozen in place for a long time. Chloe turned and glared at him. What are you looking at? Close the door. Yes, of course, right away. He put on a fawning smile and quickly closed the door to the monitoring room. Even then, she was still holding my hand tightly. I glanced down at our hands. She just rolled her eyes at me. What, not used to it anymore? After letting go, Chloe pointed to a frame on the screen. The problem should be here. In the footage, the general manager was leaving his office with my project proposal. At this point, there were still 3 hours before the two companies were scammed. There's a 3-hour gap here. If someone did something, it was during this time. Of course, we can't rule out the possibility that the manager orchestrated this himself. Probably wasn't him, I said, dismissing the idea. Chloe looked at me, a smile in her eyes. But he was the one who wanted to fire you. Are you really that forgiving? I shook my head, not explaining further. I was sure it wasn't him because of what I knew about him from my past life. The manager was an upright man, dedicated to the company. Crucially, he had no private dealings with Division 1. I stroked my chin, thinking, we should ask him if the file ever left his site during that time. But it's not really appropriate for me, a subordinate, to investigate him. If it's not convenient for you, then I'll do it. Chloe took me to the manager's office. On the way, I deliberately kept my distance from her, afraid of damaging her reputation. But just then, we ran into Brandon. He was shocked to see me. Leo, you're still not dead? You're one tough bastard. I'll outlive you 8 times over, Brandon. Let's see who gets the last laugh. I tried to walk away, but Brandon grabbed me, refusing to let me go. You son of a bitch. A suspect like you still has the nerve to be so arrogant. Who let you come back to work? Is that any of your business? It's not my business. Whoever let you back, I'll make their life hell. Brandon called someone right in front of me. Hello, Mr. Harris? That scammer Leo from Division 2 is back at work. You should report it immediately. Aren't they just courting disaster over there? What is their director thinking? I suggest you file a complaint against him. You're coming over now? Great. I'll wait for you here, right by the staircase to Division 2. After hanging up, Brandon looked at me smugly. Well, Leo, you're really in for it now. I sneered. Brandon, I'm warning you. Don't go looking for trouble. As I spoke, I glanced at Chloe, who was watching the show unfold. I had connections now, after all. But Brandon was still as arrogant as ever. I am looking for trouble. If you're comfortable, then I'm not. About 2 minutes later, the manager of Division 1, Mr. Harris, arrived. He gave me a dirty look as soon as he saw me. Who let you come back to work? My expression didn't change. Since when does the manager of Division 1 have a say in the affairs of Division 2? Is that how you talk to a superior? Mr. Harris was furious. It was obvious he was still angry about me reporting his department's project. But either way, I didn't need to give him any face. He wasn't my boss. Get out of this company right now. Is that your call to make? It is. Get out now. Mr. Harris, you've got quite the ego, Chloe said, walking over with a frown. Mr. Harris flinched. Ms. Young, what are you doing here? Do I need to inform you of my whereabouts? What is wrong with you people? The security guards are full of themselves, and the managers don't act like managers. Do you even want this job anymore? Ms. Young, save it. All of you, listen up. Leo Evans is my classmate. If anyone gives him trouble again, I'll have them fired. Brandon and Mr. Harris trembled at her words. Their faces turned pale as they quickly nodded. Chloe glared at them, then turned to me. Leo, let's go. In the general manager's office, Chloe was blunt. She told him to write up a report of his entire itinerary and submit it to her. Then she left with me. She completely ignored the look of terror on the manager's face when he saw me. That evening, Chloe treated me to dinner. During the meal, she asked, "You're divorced?"
Yeah, I'm divorced.
Why? Because, well, how do I put this? I gave her a brief, toned-down version of my experience from my past life. Chloe's eyes widened as she stared at me. Reborn? Isn't that a little far-fetched? I know. Not many people would believe it. Why wouldn't I? I was reborn too, Chloe muttered under her breath. Now it was my turn to be shocked. What did you say? In my last life, my family forced me into an arranged marriage. My life was a mess, so I jumped into a river. After I died, I found myself back here. No way. My voice rose. Look at you. You were reborn too. Why are you so surprised? I quickly took a sip of my drink to calm my nerves. It really was too much. What was going on? Was being reborn this easy now? Leo, you have to help me. Otherwise, they're definitely going to force me into another arranged marriage. Chloe said, a mischievous glint in her eyes. I swallowed hard. You don't mean… Chloe nodded vigorously. It's exactly what you're thinking. Ahem. I looked down, trying to suppress a smile that was harder to control than an AK-47. Chloe was simple-hearted. I had enjoyed spending time with her in high school. She was beautiful and rich. For me, this was like a pie falling from the sky. Why would I be coy? I was all in. What are you smiling about? Chloe couldn't help but laugh too. I shook my head. Nothing. Just feels like I hit the jackpot. Chloe burst out laughing. You sly dog. You're meeting my dad tomorrow. Quickly shook my head. No, we have to finish this investigation first. Otherwise, how could I face him? That's true. You're always thinking ahead. So cunning. After dinner, I took Chloe home. When I got back to my own place, I found Sophia standing at my door. What are you doing back here? When Sophia turned around, I saw that her face was bruised and swollen. She had clearly been beaten. Leo, can we get back together? Brandon is a monster. He hit me. Sophia cried and tried to rush into my arms, but I pushed her away. You made your choice. Forget about getting back together. I moved past her to unlock my door, but she desperately tried to follow me inside. Leo, you love me more than anyone. You can't just leave me like this. When I'm ruthless, even I scare myself. I shoved her out and slammed the door shut. Sophia probably still hadn't figured it out. It wasn't just her who was reborn, I was too. I remembered every single thing she did to me in our last life. Even if she hadn't been the one to ask for a divorce this time, I would have left her. Sophia cried outside my door for a long time. I didn't pay her any mind. The next day, the manager handed me his written statement. His attitude was completely deferential. My other colleagues saw this and looked on in disbelief. I paid them no mind and focused on the investigation. The report stated that on his way to sign the contract, he had stopped at a restaurant. Someone had called him to discuss business, so he had left his seat for a moment. I immediately went to that restaurant and checked the security footage. I never expected to see Brandon in the video. He furtively took the file and, after a while, quietly put it back. I immediately called the police to have him arrested. But unexpectedly, Brandon had already gotten word and had fled. Fortunately, he hadn't gotten far. He was caught at the train station. In this day and age, did he really think he could get away with breaking the law? After his arrest, faced with irrefutable evidence, he broke down after just half a day and confessed everything. He was an accomplice to the scammer and had received a kickback of several $100,000. The main scammer had already fled the country. The police immediately used Brandon to lure him out. With the cooperation of international police, they successfully apprehended the scammer and extradited him back to the country. The funds were also recovered. The fraud case was finally closed. Awaiting Brandon was the full, severe punishment of the law. After my name was completely cleared, Chloe dragged me to her house. The chairman's glare was so sharp he couldn't hide it. But Chloe insisted that she would rather die than not be with me. She listed all my good qualities, including my unique business acumen, saying I had a great future ahead of me. She even brought up the time my mom bailed her out after the apple stealing incident, using it to guilt-trip her father. She pleaded and cajoled him relentlessly. On top of that, my performance at work was consistently outstanding. The chairman had no choice but to pinch his nose and agree. Chloe and I were officially together. Everyone in the company was green with envy. They looked at me like I had just won the lottery. Well, I did win an even bigger prize. Chloe and I started preparing for our wedding. A few days before the big day, a disheveled Sophia showed up at my door again. She was making one last, desperate attempt. Leo, I was wrong. I was so wrong. I never should have divorced you. Brandon is a bastard. You're the one who truly loves me. I'm begging you. Can we get back together? I can't live without you. Looking at her now, I sneered. Sophia, do you really think you're the only one who was reborn? You cheated on me, you poisoned me, and you dragged my body onto the street to fake a car accident and collect the insurance money. How do you still have the face to come find me? You deserve to be sentenced to death and end your wicked life. Sophia was dumbfounded. I continued, in this new life, you chose to divorce me and be with Brandon. I let you. Now that you've ended up like this, you have to live with it because you made your own choices. I'm getting married soon. Don't bother me again. I shut the door on her one more time. 3 days later, Chloe and I had a grand wedding in the city. Holding Chloe's hand, we looked deeply into each other's eyes. We completed our wedding ceremony with the blessings of our many friends and family. Sophia had also snuck into the venue, watching me with tears in her eyes. I didn't even give her a second glance. If I hadn't been worried about disturbing the other guests, I would have had security throw her out immediately. After the ceremony was over, that's exactly what I did. After that, I never saw her again. It wasn't until 6 months later that I heard she had died. They said she had drowned herself in a river. I felt nothing. My past life was long gone. My real life was just beginning.